Hello, everyone, and welcome back to an exciting pre-award season draft update for the BLB Fantasy Movie Draft 2023 season. Very
Draft
exciting
off.
stuff.
Some
Yeah,
are saying.
draft off. Thank you, Tucker. Thank you for correcting
This
me.
was called in the streets.
Yeah. I'm here. I'm your draft host slash competitor.
Your draft king.
I'm draft king. I'm the draft king. I am
Hashtag
joined
not
here.
sponsored.
I am joined here by my fellow draft kings, Abram Buhner, Timo Nelson, Tucker Hazel. We are here today to do a very quick update on where the point standings are for our team, but then get into the meat, the real juicy, marbled meat that is our pre-awards season secondary draft. We're picking four movies that we think will be big time awards contenders, or just like box office movies that we didn't end up picking the first time around. But before we get into all the festivities, I wanted to remind you to subscribe to Backlot Banter, like this video, comment down below who your favorite awards pick slash fall slash winter pick. Let's just call it that.
Who you picking? Who you picking?
your-
Let us know.
Yeah, who's your pick? Who's your favorite pick that we made? Who made the biggest blunder this time around? Because Lord knows we made some blunders during our last draft.
Oh god, yeah.
But
Lord knows.
shall we do a little update? It's not a big update because very few movies came out in between this one and the last video that we did.
Well,
I've noticed that
very
we're
few
doing
movies
these...
that we picked.
Yeah, exactly. But I've also noticed that we've been doing these at very nice, like 2-month increments, basically. Like every 2 months, we're doing one of these, just on accident. It's pretty good.
And trust us, it is on accident.
Yeah.
I'll actually go from in ascending order in terms of point value, because Abram's silly cinematic gooses added no points in these last 2 months. He's still sitting at 86.7 with Dune Part 2. We'll get to it. Wonka, Air, The Boy and the Heron, Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom, Saltburn, and Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I am sitting comfy in third place with 165.2 points, with Killers of the Flower Moon, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, The Flash, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, that's the Hunger Games movie, The Color Purple, and Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, I also didn't add any points in these past 2 months, but our top 2 point earners, Tucker and Timo,
By process of elimination, you might be able to figure out who it is.
Yes.
The rich just continue to get richer.
Oh,
yeah,
we love that
exactly.
here at BLB.
Yeah. It's trickle-up economics around here at the BLB draft off. Tucker, last time you were sitting at 318.5 points.
All right,
Oh, sorry,
excuse me.
Spoilers. Tucker, last time you were sitting at 273.9 points.
Oh,
now you're at 318.5.
Okay.
And Tucker's team encompasses the Super Mario Bros. Movie, Barbie, Fast X, The Little Mermaid, The Exorcist Believer, which actually just came out, but too early for data on that one, Poor Things, and Wish. And still sitting atop of the pile here is Team O.
With that exclamation point.
Exactly. Still an exclamation point. Last time, 302.2. Now, 380.8 for Team O.
You added the amount of points that Abram has total.
80? 380?
Yeah, 380. With Oppenheimer, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Asteroid City, Transformers, Rise of the Beasts, Elemental, Evil Dead Rise, and TMNT Mutant Mayhem. And to answer the question of what movies made points over this last 2 months for teams, Team O and Team Money for Tucker, we'll start with Team Money. Tucker was, as I said, at 273 last time. Now is at 318. Mario didn't pick up any more points for you. I'm sorry to say. But,
no, it's only like the third highest point movie so far. Oh, no.
Yeah. But Barbie
too bad.
was sitting at 65.5 points last time. Now 110.1.
Oh, and it's not done yet, baby. Let's fucking go.
It's not yet. And so that's where your points came from. You just
it is done
up...
with the money, though. And that, frankly, for me, that's all that matters. There's these, awards points? I don't give a shit about those.
Tucker, you picked up 45 points from Barbie alone in those past 2 months. And Team O. So last time that we talked about, we talked about Barbie. Let's talk about Oppenheimer. Last time Oppenheimer was at 48.6. It's now sitting at 64.4. So
over
that'll be
about 2/3 of what Abrams' total points are.
exactly. TMNT actually was the last movie that Timo had to come out last time we did that. It is
Oh,
out.
he's done.
Yeah, and picked up 52.7 points.
Yeah.
So that's where Timo's points came from.
TMNT was a good pick. I think I am
52 points is big.
In hindsight, I mean, okay, let's look at the data. Indiana Jones, the film that I dropped it for, got 47.7 points. TMNT got 52.7 points.
Net gain.
That is 5 more points.
Here's
I gained via that swap.
You gained 5 points in that swap. I traded Rebel Moon for Indiana Jones, so I think I got more than 5
That's
points.
true. Yeah.
We
both, non-zero sum game. We both won.
Mutually beneficial.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah. There are the team standings. Does anyone have any feelings about where how their teams are now? It's been 2 months. The ranking has not changed, but any feelings nonetheless?
Here are my
The
feelings.
only major change is that Timo has just continued to go up.
Yeah.
Oppenheimer, I'm telling you, Oppenheimer is doing very well.
Timo, let me tell you something. If Oppenheimer gets the coveted, it's like cusping on $1 billion by the end. He's licking his chops. It's gonna be huge. That's another 12 points, just so the audience knows. Yeah, if Oppenheimer crosses $1 billion, it doesn't look like it's going to do it right now. But I've settled on the fact that if it hits $1 billion in 2023, then you get the points. If they do some sort of push, some sort of re-release at the end of the year, somehow, some way, pack up another 50 million at the worldwide box office, that's 12 points, Timo.
Wow. Let's hope for that.
So, I don't think there's really any sort of debate over the fact that Abrams' silly cinematic gooses is failing.
Silly.
I feel like my team is quite similar to the New York Jets, right?
Okay.
At the moment, everybody always says, "Man, the Jets just suck ass. They're awful. It's all falling apart." But then, what did the Jets get this year? They got Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
but they got Aaron.
He's old though.
Well, here's the thing. They got Aaron Rodgers for about 3 snaps of the football, and on the fourth snap of the football,
wasn't it only 1?
I thought it was 4th down. Regardless, within the first drive, Aaron Rodgers' Achilles tendon just severs.
Yeah, completely. Yeah. It went into the nosebleeds of the stadium. I'm pretty sure.
The reason I raise this is because Dune Part 2 has become my Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, it has. It has.
You had a saving grace.
You were banking on it. It was the last line of defense for Abrams' silly cinematic uses, and that defense has fallen.
Yes, it has.
But I've got some backups though.
Abram, you will get a chance to redeem yourself because let me lay down the ground rules for this upcoming draft. So, as has become evident, as people try to finagle and find loopholes in the rules, I need to adjust the rules, and I've had to do so over the last couple months, both from our doing and from outside influences. Addendum number 1. When we started this, I said, if you pick a movie that ends up not coming out in 2023, that's on you. You don't get a replacement. I said that under the assumption that people would be picking undated films.
Sure, yeah.
We could not have predicted the WGA/SAG strike. So I'm going to allow, if you had a dated movie that moved out of the year, like Dune Part 2, I'm going to allow you a free pickup. That's how it's going to go down. It was no fault of your own. It was no hubris, no Icarus flying too close to the sun. It was greedy studio bosses ending, their decisions delaying a much anticipated film out of the year that they had a date for years now. Number 2, and I think this might come up in this draft update. You are allowed to pick international films, and furthermore, that domestic box office, that 100 million, that century domestic mark, will be for the movie's home country. So, Abram, for example, The Boy and the Heron, Japan will be its domestic box office number. I'll give you that as well.
Good news.
Yes, it is mostly just all rules to maybe help Abram float to the top a little bit more. It's ending up like, but if people are
So we
picking,
call evening the playing field.
If people are picking Indian films or other films or foreign films that may be showing up at the Oscars this year, I will be counting that home country as the domestic market, unless I don't know, maybe we can make a trade of like, do you want to count the U.S. box office instead? I don't know if that's something people want to do.
You probably have to make that decision before it comes out.
Yeah, I agree. I digress. We'll probably have to make more little edits and addendums and rule adjustments as time goes on.
We're on draft 1 here. We're still figuring it out.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, let's do it. Let's talk fall and winter movies, gentlemen. We are well into the fall now. I don't know about you fellas, but it's gotten chilly around here finally.
As of today, yeah.
Literally as of today in Texas,
yeah.
It's cold now, thank the Lord.
Mm-hmm. But how this will work is because as I mentioned, Abram gets a freebie pick because of Dune Part 2 moving. So that's where we will begin. Is Abram will get his first pick as normal. We're going to go in order of lowest points as a team to highest points as a team. But you'll figure it out. We'll slot Abram in here pretty quick for his bonus pick essentially. But Abram, without further ado, what are you picking, pal? Yeah, you got the wide open range here.
I am picking the film that is going to dominate the box office in October.
Okay.
Perhaps in place of Dune. I am taking, as it's officially known here, Taylor Swift, the ERAS Tour.
Yep. Yes. Okay.
Now, Taylor Swift, the ERAS Tour, for the benefit of the audience, is essentially just a recorded version of Taylor Swift's ERA Tour. The budget on this thing is purportedly 10 to 20 million.
Yes.
And the tracking for opening weekend is what, 125?
Yes. It has, by the way, already made $100 million in pre-sale tickets. So it has made its budget back tenfold before it comes out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's nothing compared to Taylor Swift's contribution to the economy as a whole, which I read a headline today that was valued at $5 billion.
Yes.
Good thing we're not playing. Good thing we're not playing musical tour fantasy draft.
Yeah. Well, we could be because there's another big concert film that's coming out later this year as well. Anyway, Abram, that was my top pick as well. I mean, it's massive. You already have an inbuilt, making your budget back. It's
many times.
It's maybe $1 billion thing. Like
we'll see. We'll see.
I was concerned about it because it wasn't going to have international markets, but a couple weeks ago it was revealed that yes, indeed, it's opening in 100 international markets this coming weekend as well.
Probably most of the big ones.
Yeah.
Probably everything that matters. And also, interestingly enough, it is clearing house around it, so it has actually forced itself to have box office air. I mean, Exorcist got out of the way of that, and what the fuck else is releasing in October? I don't know, man. So this is going to be really the only thing that's making an obscene amount of money this month. So, I mean, it could end up being one of the best picks of this entire draft.
I think it is the best pick.
Yeah,
I'm sleeper
really...
too. We didn't know about it before this draft when this draft started.
I think it's going to be
true.
I think it's going to be really interesting to see if this even has a place awards-wise. I don't know if it does.
No, I don't know how.
It's not even I mean, it's technically a documentary, but I don't think it
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna even have any. No, but ultimately, it's not gonna matter. That's
the
thing.
Stop being greedy, Abram. You're gonna have enough points from this as is. Okay.
Yeah,
this will more than double what you currently have, probably.
Yeah, I think so.
It is essentially a sort of a 1 to 2 pillar pick. I mean, I'm sure. Well, here's the other thing, right? Letterboxd viewers, Taylor Swift fans, that Venn diagram is like a circle.
I remember, if you recall, Taylor Swift's All Too Well short film was the highest rated short film on the platform for a while, and amongst the highest rated films, period, on Letterboxd. So, yes, I think you'll be just fine, Abram. Just fine.
I think so. Fantastic. I didn't fuck it up with anything akin to a second round air pick. There's still time. Trust me, there's still time.
You still get that second round for you. So that leaves it to me. So I have basically a wide open field now. But Abram, as you said, you took my number one option. So with that in mind, I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick Anatomy of a Fall.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
This is like a tried and true blue-blooded awards pick right here. This is a French film, though famously, as of a couple weeks ago, not actually picked by the French Academy Board to be its official international submission. But I digress, and I contend that it will still be getting Oscars nominations, as well as, since we're doing the awards season draft, technically, I should point out that the awards bodies that will be garnering us points include the Academy, the Oscars, we all know and love / hate them, the British Academy, the BAFTAs, the Critics' Choice of America, and the Golden Globes. So.
Yep.
There we have it. I think it's gonna get. I think it'll get awards across the board at all 4 bodies. So that's what I'm gonna go. I'm going Anatomy of a Fall. I cut a trailer for it while I was at the Alamo today. Looks like it rips, dude. I'm super excited. Oh,
Cool.
sorry.
I
I
am
should
too.
I should
Yeah.
announce I should announce who's next. Tucker, you're next.
Okay, all right. I was just
Yeah.
waiting to see if there was like, a follow-up sentence to
No,
that,
no,
or if it
no.
was just kind of a. All right. Abram, who can play at that game? Because I am also going to pick the other concert film of this year, which is Beyonce's Renaissance. Is that what it's
Yes.
called? I don't know the fucking name.
Yes, Beyonce the Renaissance Tour.
But I really do think that there's a chance that I think ERAS Tour will be the bigger one. I couldn't tell you if I've ever listened to either a Taylor Swift or a Beyonce song, to be 100% honest. But I think that a rising Taylor Swift rises all Beyonces. So I'm I'm gonna pick Renaissance in the hopes that the ERAS Tour will just start this as a trend, and we'll see these bringing a lot of people to the box office in a way that a lot of the biggest things really aren't nowadays.
Yeah.
The big studio films of the summer, a lot of them were losing most of those companies a lot of money. Of course, there
Yes.
were a few outliers, but what we've been looking for in this post-pandemic era is what is going to be putting butts in seats. And I think that with the 1-2 punch of Taylor Swift and Beyonce putting out these reasonably these small budget productions of their famous tours into theaters, I'm not convinced that this is going to be as big as ERAS Tour, but I think I've also got I've got a comfortable huge chunk of change in terms of points and also money, which is what it's all about at the end of the day.
Yeah. Tucker, I'll have you know that the Renaissance Tour actually just recently wrapped up this past week and ended up being the 7th highest grossing concert tour of all time.
All right, I think I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
ERAS Tour is above that.
Right?
ERAS is still going technically, so that's why it's not on the list yet. But yeah, probably will end up being.
I
but
saw
for
a headline that it was.
for the time being, Beyonce holds that number 7 spot and the number 1 spot for a female recording artist.
Hey, you know what? 7, not too shabby.
Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Okay.
Some might say historically good.
Yes. Some might say historic. Timo, what are you picking, pal?
Well, I'm just a little inspired by this here music trend. I'm not gonna pick a concert movie, but I am gonna pick Sofia Coppola's new film Priscilla.
Oh,
Okay.
sure.
All right.
I think that this film is
tangential.
gonna make some waves. I don't know. There's no Elvis music in it. The Elvis estate hates the movie, but Priscilla Presley herself has come out on the record saying that she likes it. And thinks it's a good representation of her book. Yes.
Yeah.
And people like Sofia Coppola. I think that this film has both the potential for a moderately successful awards run and a moderately successful box office run. So I'm gonna hope to synergize those two things. And I mean, what we got 2 Elvis movies in a row. One Elvis movie one year, another Elvis movie the next year. I don't know. Can't not pick it. I feel like
this is actually a Priscilla Presley.
Yes,
movie,
it is
not
a
an
Priscilla.
episode. I just want to be clear about that.
Well, and like the trailer really was selling me on it. I think the story seems to be very interesting, a really good and new take on Elvis that probably a lot of boomers are not ready to deal with, but everybody else is.
And Timo, might I remind you who makes up most of the Academy?
Boomers.
Yes. I personally don't feel like this is going to have a lot of awards potential. You can maybe see Kaylee Spaney getting in there. She did famously win the the Venice Award for Best Actress. And that has a pretty strong track record for getting in the actress category.
Yeah.
But also the Academy typically doesn't go for Sofia Coppola. It's not really their cup of tea. But
Who's to
It'll
say it
be.
won't be this time?
who's to say it won't be this time? Indeed. And it's gonna be a big hit with the Letterboxd crowd for sure.
I think it's going to do
Yeah.
pretty well at the box office.
No,
Yeah.
that's a very limited amount pool of points you're pulling from there. If that's what you're like, hey, I'm going for a movie that's going to do nothing else but get
It'll
good
make its budget.
score on Letterboxd.
It'll definitely make its budget back. Actually, speaking of its budget, I saw a headline recently about Sofia Coppola was like strapped for cash making this thing. You just
I
brought up
also
an
read about
interesting
this.
conversation
Yeah.
about like how like even a large name indie director has trouble getting things produced
Yeah.
nowadays, even coming from A24. But now we are doing a snake draft, but we got to slot Abram's bonus pick in somewhere, and it's going to happen right here. Abram, it's back to you before we do a Timo second.
I am going to snatch up the Zone of Interest.
Okay, nice.
This film has a lot of hype around it. I was pulling up in a flurry. I was pulling up all kinds of stories. And Tanner, I forget which festival, but one of the festivals just gave its highest marks to Zone of Interest, right?
Yeah. Oh, well, it's premiered at a couple. It premiered
Yeah.
at Cannes the other day, and it was also at NIF and TIFF, I believe.
Yeah. This is obviously coming from A24. And Jonathan Glazer, I have not seen a ton of his work, but I am a huge
He hasn't
fan
made a
of
ton. Yeah.
I am a huge fan of Under the Skin. So between my interest in that film and its pretty positive awards momentum, I feel pretty good about cleaning up in that direction.
Yeah. I mean, it does have some pretty solid momentum. It's just that, like, is it too sparse and artsy for the Academy to go for all the way? Well, Tar is even I think this film is even much different than Tar. Actually, apparently, it is like quite cold, quite alienating, not really having a narrative structure to it, just kind of like cameras in a house and around these people's property, sort of like following them
Paranormal
through.
Activity.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly like Paranormal Activity.
I think it's just going to end up being provocative enough that it captures a lot of attention.
Based on from the source material and from what I've heard, definitely provocative. Definitely is going to be a controversial movie that is, sort of batted around on film Twitter discourse for a while, I think.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Do we get extra points for that?
We can institute it. We can institute it, maybe. Okay, Timo, your second pick, sir.
I've got a lot of stuff that I can pick from, but I've decided that I'm gonna go with what I think is a fairly awards baity pick, but we'll see if it pans out. I don't really know if it's gonna. This is Maestro, Bradley Cooper's new directing, acting. Last time he did this, the Academy just ate that shit up. They loved it.
They loved it.
I'm betting that they're going to love it again. It got good reviews at New York Film Festival. And so it seems to be a story about, Leonard Bernstein and who's an American. He's an American folk hero if you're going to be taking it from me. I think Maestro should do pretty well. I don't really know about the box office prospects. I think they're definitely worse than Priscilla. But I mean, it
is a Netflix film.
movie,
Oh,
right?
so it doesn't even fucking matter. There's no box office.
It of course will be released in theaters like in New York, the ones that Netflix owns, because that's how you get into the Oscars race.
The Paramount decree is specifically about the whatever. I do not want to get into the legal troubles of Netflix and owning their own theaters, but I disagree.
The bare minimum Academy rules, putting it out in theaters. So, but yeah, it is a Netflix release first and foremost.
So, Maestro, that's my second pick.
I think it's still.
But also, we're getting into the part of the year where most of these movies aren't going to be getting their points from the box office, regardless. You talk about Priscilla, built on a $20 million budget. It'll make that back, but it's not going to be getting. It'll get the points for making its budget back, but it's not going to continue to get a ton more money. And that's true for basically everything here. These are limited release films that are geared towards their their awards potential, especially nominations. And yeah, Maestro's in that camp. Netflix is very good at getting nominations. They're not
Yes.
good at getting wins, but they're
Not
very
they
good at
ke-
getting nominations.
Mhm.
And hey,
I think this
A
one
Star
will
is
get it.
Born did win an Oscar.
That's true. It did.
Best song.
I think that this one will get its fair share of nominations across the board. You look at its strongest foot, which is probably Bradley Cooper, in that lead role as lead actor, and he's going into a very, very tight race in actor this year. One that maybe they might not award him again. They might snub him once again, but who's to say?
Who's to say?
He's
Hard
got
to
some
predict
makeup
the
slathered
future.
on him this time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the award for biggest nose.
Jesus Christ.
All right, Tucker.
Film Twitter's not happy about that.
Yeah.
Has that been resolved? Have they apologized to Bradley Cooper or whatever?
I think that there was some comment from Leonard Bernstein's estate,
family,
Leonard Bernstein's
yeah.
kids. Yeah. Anyway, Tucker, your pick, my good man.
If we're gonna go movies that've got some comfortable awards potential
Mm-hmm.
and will actually be released theatrically and aren't from fucking Netflix,
Go ahead and do it, Tucker. Take it. Take the rug from under my feet.
I gotta root for the home team here. Nebraska's own Alexander Payne is putting
Yes, of
out the
course.
Holdovers in
Yes.
the year of our Lord 2023, and it is getting trailers in theaters, unlike some of this other shit that we're talking about.
It's got a great trailer. The trailer in the theaters is really good.
It's okay.
I think it's really
I
good.
think
It's a
fine.
good
I
trailer.
don't. The narration kind of rubs me the wrong way, and I really hate the fucking freeze frame.
The
But
freeze
I
frame's funny.
digress.
I think it's very funny.
But the Holdovers is my pick. This is one that I personally don't have the confidence for. Like, I'm not like, oh, I think this movie looks amazing, and I think it's going to get a ton of awards potential. But everyone else thinks that.
Yeah.
And Alexander Payne has an almost immaculate track record, except for downsizing when it comes to the awards. So yeah, I'm going with the Holdovers.
Yeah. This is the boomer pleaser of the year, 100%.
Oh
This
yeah, well,
is...
the trailer is specifically designed to
Uh-huh.
feel like an oldies trailer.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
yes, you're right, Tanner.
This is the one for the boomers out there. And it's a great pick, actually. I think tickets are going on sale quite soon. I saw it up
I'm
on
sure
our
that'll sell
local.
out.
Yeah, I mean it'll be big. It's gonna be massive. Look out, Taylor Swift. I don't know. Okay. Oh boy, what am I gonna pick? Okay. So I got my awards pick in. I got my top tier, my best picture, presumed best picture nominee. Best picture. So I'm gonna swing over to a different camp.
Can I have some of those?
Shut the fuck up.
I'm gonna swing over to a different camp and go something that I think will be, talking about how I mentioned at the top of the game, international box office and counting its debut overseas as its domestic box office total. So I'm gonna pick Tiger 3, the newest installment in the YRF spy universe, following up from January's Batan. Yeah, I think this is going to be pretty massive.
Batan is like the fifth highest grossing movie in India ever fucking made, or whatever the hell like that.
Yes. Now this one will be lacking the big star SRK, or maybe he'll show up in a cameo of some kind. But
he might. Tiger showed up in Batan.
It's true, he did. Abram, Timo, you guys want to weigh in on this?
You know much more about the Indian box office than I do.
Yeah, but I feel like it's pretty reliably going to be a box office success, maybe even a smash success overseas there.
Yeah, and it's also releasing on one of the biggest holidays in India. I can't remember which holiday it's releasing around, but movies that release in that time frame are really hyped up and become culturally important, and they're obviously gearing it for that slot. So this is going to be a big one.
Yeah. Okay, and now Abram, it's all the way back to you, pal.
I'm gonna ride for my boy.
Okay.
Who needs all the support he can after Foe, because I am picking up all of Us Strangers.
Okay.
Third round pick from me. This has a lot of really, really, really strong buzz.
Yes,
really
it does.
Strong buzz. Now, as you've been saying, obviously, the actor category is very busy this year. But my boy, I think that my boy Paul Mescal is in a good position to pick up some at least some nominations off of this one.
Yeah.
I'm not too familiar with the director, I have to say. However,
Andrew Hai. Yeah.
I'm quite tantalized by this film in general, and I think it's gonna do me well in the pillar we're discussing today.
Yeah. I'm not so sure about at the Academy, Abram, but I think you got maybe some safe nominations at like with the Brits at the BAFTAs and probably the critics as well. The critics are really the ones that are eating this thing up at the festivals. They're saying that people are walking out weeping after seeing this film. So it's very emotional. Just like Terrifier 2. People are throwing up and passing out at this, very tender, heartbreaking romance.
Well, the question is, Tanner, do you get any bonus points in the draft for showing cum?
I don't think so, unless it feeds into the whole film Twitter discourse points that we're slowly establishing.
We're workshopping those.
Abram, I'll have you know, I have related since you brought it up. I have Foe dead last in my my ranking of what I should pick.
So it sounds like it's really going to be Zone of Interest versus whether or not the prosthetics in Maestro are anti-Semitic versus how much is from Twitter like cum.
Yeah. Oh, and we know. I think we know. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's back to me. It's the ball is in my part of the court here again, and I'll have to take a look at my power ranking here. And oh boy. Okay. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go. Now we're into the awards part of my list where maybe it is, maybe it's not getting nominations. So I'm gonna go the one that has potential for more nominations just on its face. And I'm gonna grab another Netflix movie, December.
Ooh, nice. That's a good one. That was my next pick.
Natalie Portman, Julianne Moore, Charles Melton, all counted out earlier from awards pundits, but now as more people are getting eyes on this thing, the conversation is, you might have to make room for them. You might have to make room for this thing popping up at awards shows. So I'm going to grab it. I'm going to nab it in hopes that maybe one or two or potentially all three of them get into their respective categories.
Wow. Yeah. Certainly possible.
Yeah. Okay. Tucker, that means to you.
Tucker's next.
It is back to me, and Tanner, I wanted Tiger 3. I was very upset when you picked it up from our friend group draft that we did last weekend. But I learned about an alternative pick to the at our other draft with our friends to the big international pick that's going to make a fuckload of money in its respective international box office, and that is The Goldfinger.
Yes, I also learned about this.
The Goldfinger.
Educated about this.
Add the.
Yeah, I don't think Tanner put this on his list, but it releases at the very tail end of the year, and this is the big Chinese movie of this year. This is Tony Leung in a basically Wolf of Wall Street type, and Tony Leung, the biggest Chinese movie star, and it's intrigue and drama and people in fancy suits, and they're really gearing this to be a massive deal closing out the end of the year for the Chinese box office. Will we get it here? Probably in some limited capacity. Tanner and I have actually never gone to see a Chinese movie at the theaters, but we got things like Wandering Earth and Full River Red. We just didn't see them. So this is one that'll have a mild presence around the world. Chinese box office movies are some of the highest grossing movies of the year. We just don't know about them because we can't see them. They're not distributed for us, basically
largely
at all.
Not distributed in the U.S.
But with the rule that we can reach out to international markets and rely on the popularity in their home markets, you're going to tell me that Wolf of Wall Street, Tony Leung movie releasing at the end of the year is not going to light that fucking Chinese box office flame? Holy shit. Money, baby.
Money indeed. Okay. Timo, back to you. Your third pick. I
don't know what to do for this third pick. I really want to pick this movie, but I just kind of don't think it's that great of an idea. I don't think it's gonna make that much money, and I don't think it's gonna win all these awards. But I really want to pick it. I don't know. I'm gonna do it. Fuck the haters. I have 380 points. I can do whatever I want. I'm picking Ridley Scott's Napoleon.
Ooh, whoa, that was my next one. Oh,
okay.
I don't know about this movie. It could be great. It could be bad.
Yeah.
The trailer really gives me no vibes other than I want to go see it. I want to go see this movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
I personally have faith in Riddles.
Ridley needs a comeback. I'm feeling, and maybe this is it. Joaquin Phoenix. I don't know. I don't know anything. I don't like this movie. Gives me so much mixed feelings. As a draft pick, but as a movie, I'm really hyped.
Interestingly, so I'm very excited for this movie as well, and I think the trailer looks good. But recently, I heard some.
Shoot the pyramid.
Yes, that's cool. I do like that. Actually, it's very cool. But I heard some people outside of our sphere, I believe on a podcast, talking about how maybe third hand as second hand as well, that they think this movie looks bad, or like there's an inkling out there that this movie looks bad, and there was like a featurette of Joaquin Phoenix in his performance, and they think that Joaquin Phoenix looks bad in this movie. Now I can't.
What was the last time he
those
turned in a
statements.
bad performance?
I can't condone those
Joker.
statements. I can't condone any statements being made. Okay. But I do know that I don't think the Academy is going to go for this.
Yeah, I don't know,
Well,
but
interestingly enough, though,
I'm hoping.
it sounds like on a plate. You're telling me that Best Actor award winner Joaquin Phoenix is playing Napoleon in an epic movie directed by one of the great modern filmmakers, and that sounds like he could win for that.
Yeah,
but it's just not happening.
I don't know.
But it might come around when the movie comes out.
Isn't it coming to Apple TV also?
It's one of those Apple TV Plus, very similar to Killers of the Flower Moon, where you have this giant, legendary, prestige filmmaker stealing money from Apple and saying, "Yeah, it can go to your streaming service eventually, but you're gonna put it out in theaters, and you're gonna put it out in theaters for a long time."
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, honestly, let's get more directors that are willing to say that.
Like, no, honestly, yeah.
Let's have Todd Haynes be like, sorry, Netflix. Like, May December's going to get a normal theatrical run. But only Scorsese and Scott are like big bald enough to be like, no, because that didn't even happen with Glass Onion last year. And Glass Onion could have been one of the highest grossing movies of last year if Netflix wasn't a fucking asshole about it.
Yeah, I would have actually seen it last year if it came out in theaters.
Exactly.
I had to see it at 10 p.m. on a Tuesday because they were ripping it out of theaters after like a week.
Yeah, and I even remember a Netflix exec over there was like, "Yeah, we left a lot of money on the table for pulling it out after 1 week." Yeah.
Didn't they though just snatch up The Hitman? Isn't that a Netflix movie now?
That's a Netflix movie. Anna Kendrick's Woman of the Hour is a Netflix movie. There's even another TIFF movie called His Three Daughters that has some star power as well. That's a Netflix pickup as well. They were basically like scrabbling things up because they didn't know how long the strikes were going to last, so they could just like dole those out over the next couple months. And still must actually, since they had to stop production on all their stuff too. So just grabbing finished products to put out like early next year to pad it out, I guess.
So are we gonna get a May December casino machine like the Squid Games one? Do we think?
I really hope so. Oh hey, May December, throw it in for Film Tour Discourse, by the way.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys know. Do you guys know about the premise of that movie?
Not really.
Okay.
No.
It's basically like it's based on a true story actually of Julianne Moore is playing a woman who started a relationship with her now husband Charles Melton when he was 14 years old.
Okay.
And Natalie Portman is an actress coming to like study them years later now that they live together to portray Julianne Moore in a movie that they're making about her life. So yes.
Whoa.
Yeah, that'll do it. I think that beats all the other controversies we've laid out.
Yes. Age gap controversy is a hot.
Twitter loves Todd Haynes though. So
that's true.
We'll see.
Yeah. But Timo, it's time for your fourth pick since we're doing it snake style, baby.
Yeah, snake style had me freaking out for a moment there. I was making a little funny face because I didn't know what to pick. Now I know what to pick. I am gonna choose Leave the World Behind.
Okay.
I've never even heard of that.
It's got Ethan Hawke, it's got Kevin Bacon, Julia Roberts in it. It looks interesting. We'll see. I'm almost blind picking this one, but I've got Oh, this is another Netflix movie. Yeah, that's right.
It is a Netflix movie. Yes. It's coming out December 8th. It's an interesting pick from you, Timo. I have it way down in the list because it seems like it's like a sort of out there sci-fi thing going to Netflix, but I mean I think it looks cool and it's got some really interesting people in it, so I'm gonna watch it when it comes out. But I don't know where you're looking for points on this thing, frankly.
I'll take them where I can get them.
You could have even gone with another Netflix movie, The Killer, which has a slightly more
Of course.
potential. But
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
you know what?
I got a bad feeling about The Killer. I don't know what it is, but I got a bad feeling
Ooh.
about it. So
Okay.
I'm not going to condone that statement. Don't come for the Finch man in front
I
of me.
don't like his
Timo.
silly hat. I don't like Michael Fassbender's hat in that movie.
Okay. I'll condone that statement. I'll hear it. Tucker, your fourth pick, sir.
Oh, if I'm going money,
Mm-hmm.
I gotta go with the one unpicked box office draw that we don't have on any of our teams yet, and that is
Don't pick it.
Illumination is putting out a holiday movie, and
Mhm.
so I'm picking Migration
Okay.
to really close out the year. Illumination are the ones making a ton of money. Disney is not, and so I'm covering my bases with having Wish and Migration on my team. Actually, I also have Mario on my team, so I'm going
Yeah.
full Illumination animated this year. But I don't have a ton of hope for this movie personally, though. Basically, every Illumination money makes an absolute assload of money.
Yeah.
So why not? Like, it'll be a hit with kids. It's in that perfect winter slot to just stick around for a couple of months into the dregs that are January and February.
Mhm.
So yeah, Migration is my pick there.
Okay. I see you, Tucker. Tucker, I see you.
Tanner?
Yes. And now to me for my fourth pick.
I'm just looking forward to drafting Avatar 4. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
I still get
What
to pick
three?
two
What about
movies,
that?
right?
Someone
Yeah,
else is gonna.
you get two, Abram.
I'm just soul reading. Someone else is
We'll
gonna get
snake back to
3.
you. We'll snake back.
I'll get 4.
Uh-huh. Okay. What should I do here? Okay. I don't want to. Tucker, you mentioned that there was only one box office movie left on the list, and I don't know.
There is one
Don't
other
pick
one.
it.
Yes.
It's not that. Don't.
I'm
pick it.
iffy. I'm iffy, and I'm not gonna pick it. I'm also gonna skip
They're referencing
over.
the Marvels, by the way. For
Yeah, the
those
Marvels is what I'm talking
uninitiated.
about. I'm also gonna skip over oh, should I skip over that though? I don't know if I should. No, I gotta go for the win, and I gotta go for the win, and
Isn't
I'm
that
gonna
how
go.
we're supposed to be playing the game?
Yes.
Trying to win.
This is why I
But,
can
like,
pick all these crazy ass movies because I already am winning.
Yes.
It's a great point, Timo.
I'm betraying my own personal love, and I'm gonna go with Rustin.
Okay.
What's your
Yeah.
personal love?
Yeah.
The Killer.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like Rustin is this safer pick for Oscars. It's of course still a Netflix movie, which is becoming quite a trend here actually. But I feel like it's the safer
You
pick.
can
It's
only
marginal.
campaign so many.
Yeah, that's true. It's marginal. It's a fence sitter in terms of is Coleman Domingo in or out. But I think I gotta go with it's more in than not. I think. So I'm gonna go Rustin.
Sure.
Great.
Dude, yeah.
Abram, 2 picks from you, good sir.
To round out our
Sure.
evening of drafting.
The rest of us are done, correct?
Yes.
So building on Rustin, actually, my next pick, my third pick, is Trolls Band Together.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Now I did a little bit of figuring into Trolls.
Okay.
The first Trolls, on not a very big budget, made a pretty significant return.
Of course.
I think it about tripled its budget. So I think let's keep that in mind. Let's also keep in mind that Trolls World Tour it was able to still make $50 million in 2020, being kind of the first film to pioneer this same day digital release strategy. That was a very, very successful film on digital. Trolls is this franchise, like, it's everything I hate. It's trolls, they're singing, it's kids, they're farting, all kinds of things are happening.
Yeah.
But it's got a cast of very hot stars, Justin Timberlake, Camila Cabello, all kinds of people in there. The trailers have a shit ton of views on YouTube.
Yeah.
The previous movies did well. The budget's not particularly big. This movie has about a month before Migration. I actually think that Trolls Band Together is a pretty solid choice.
It honestly is. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
It's not a smash, but it could be.
Yeah. it comes, it's coming out on like on that Thanksgiving weekend, so you're gonna
Yeah.
have lots of families being able to go to this thing. And it honestly, no, Hunger Games will probably end up taking that weekend, so I don't know if you're gonna get a number one of the week, but you could.
Yeah.
Anyone else have anything to say about Trolls Band Together?
No, I mean, it's just like a
Abram picked the
probably
singing and
reasonably
farting
successful.
movie, so what can I say?
Yeah. Two of Abram's
I-
favorite pastimes.
I saw the Trolls Band Together trailer in front of Barbie at a theater that the sound system was too loud. I had to go
Oh,
ask them
jeez.
to turn the sound down, but I was being assaulted by trolls at about 135% volume.
Mhm.
And ever since then, I know that I have a relationship with this film that
Yeah.
I must see through. I want to give a shout out to the bike riders. I'm not picking the bike riders. I don't think
Yeah,
the bike riders has anything.
We were all
behind it,
thinking
but
about it, but I saw the trailer.
We're all leaving something on the table, I think. We're all leaving
Yeah.
something on the table, and it's a little sad.
I'm very excited to see it. I'm a big Austin Butler fan. I'm a
Mhm.
big Tom Hardy fan. I think it's gonna be good. But my final pick is a weird movie. This is a gamble, but Abrams' silly
No.
cinematic gooses needs a gamble.
You know what? That's true. You're sitting too safe right now.
I was asked a lot of clarifying questions to make sure I could pick this film.
Okay.
The movie I am picking is called Do Not Expect Too Much from the End of the World.
Okay.
I don't know. What
Okay,
that is.
Abram.
Now, which country does this film come from?
This
Poland,
comes
right?
from Romania.
Romania.
Now,
Okay.
I want to read you just a little bit of a short Hollywood Reporter article.
Okay.
Yeah. Hit me. I am familiar with. I'm familiar with your game, Abram, and I'm familiar with this film.
For a little bit of context, Mubi has picked this up. This is it already released, I think, in France a couple weeks ago. It is. I was seeing some buzz today, sort of one of the presumptive frontrunners at the New York Film Festival, and this is what Do Not Expect Too Much from the End of the World is. It's a new satire from Romanian director Radu Jude, picking up and movies picking up. The film, a feminist satire that looks at two women fighting the patriarchy in Romania in the past and present. Do not expect too much. Prepare, blah, blah, blah. Romania has picked it up to be its official entry for the 2024 Oscars in the Best International Feature category. Now, this film is a workplace COVID-era satire that is directly skewering Andrew Tate type figures.
Okay.
Now, I think, in my opinion, from the reading I've done today, this has a real chance to be so prescient and so effective that we see it in international categories.
Okay.
Now, this is a real curveball because the guy's
Yes.
last film, very, very well acclaimed, didn't really do anything. However,
Oh, this is the guy. Fuck. This is the guy who made Bad Luck Banging or Loony Porn. I actually saw
Yes.
that and I fucking hated that movie.
yeah, I know you do.
Yeah.
I just think that critically, it's already doing exceptionally well. I think that if it makes its way into these international categories, I have a potential very strong pick on my hands. So
Yeah. I think his based on his previous work, which I actually have seen, because as you were
Yeah.
describing that, I'm like, wait a second. There's no way. There's no
Yeah.
possible way it's the same guy. But it is. It is the same guy. And his movies are weird. Too
Yeah.
weird, I think. Like, I know there's a lot of conversation about, like, oh, Everything Everywhere at Once is too weird for the Academy, or
We'll
Poor
see.
Things is
I
too
mean,
weird
that's
for
what I
the
was gonna
Academy.
say. Poor Things looks pretty weird too, and Tucker's had that on his team
This
for a long
is
time.
a very different flavor, okay? This is, the film that I saw, Bad Luck Banging or Loony Porn, is pictures of of just like still pictures of male penises on screen as like a sequence. Just photos. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, Abram. I don't know about this.
I just think that a Romanian director tackling Andrew Tate type characters
Ooh, that's a
set
good
in
point.
the COVID moment is a very, very, very strong appeal.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Given Mr. Tate is in Romanian prison.
That's true. No, isn't he released?
Yeah,
I
he's
don't
on like house arrest or
released.
something, but he's
Yeah.
in Romania.
He's in
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Romanian house arrest.
He's gonna see this? Think he's gonna see this one?
Yeah.
Catch
Yeah,
this
you
one?
think I'll catch it?
Yeah.
Well, Abram should get 1.5 points on this movie if Andrew Tate tweets about it.
Oh, hello.
That
Okay.
1.5 points. I think we can swing that.
Yeah.
Not too much?
Yeah, well, that'd be
Not too
just
little?
fine. Yeah.
Might be the only points he gets.
So there you go.
Gambling at the end. Had to
Yes.
gamble.
I had to gamble at the end, and there it is.
I thought maybe you would pick Rebel Moon back up.
Yeah, you could have. You really
I
could
could
have.
have. I actually thought about it.
Honestly, it might get like a VFX nom at the Oscars or something like that.
Probably worth
So
more points than this last one.
yeah, I think so. But I don't know. I don't know.
We all have our
Oh, God.
strategies, okay? We all have our strategies.
We do.
Yeah. Okay. So let's recap. Let's recap, folks. I also want to maybe point out just some films that we left on the table because I think there are some
Sure.
big ones. So or maybe some not some big ones, but some nicely sized ones. Let's say.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. Abram, since you went last, let's talk about it. Abram, Dune 2 has been scratched from your team as it is no longer coming out in 2023. So your team, as it stands, is going all the way from your earliest draft pick to your most recent.
Yeah.
Wonka, Air, The Boy and the Heron, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, Saltburn, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, Taylor Swift, The Eras Tour, Zone of Interest, All of Us Strangers, Trolls Band Together, and Do Not Expect Too Much from the End of the World.
Abram's gonna be fine. Abram's gonna be fine. He's got movies that have not come out yet that he drafted
Abram
like
has a lot
way
of
back in April.
We dog on Abram for having
He's
the
gonna
lowest
be fine.
points.
I really.
It's worth noting that only 2 of Abram's movies have actually come out.
Yeah. And
Shit.
Wonka, I'm still fucking pulling for Wonka.
He's
You know, though-
he's white knuckling that thing.
You're real smart on Saltburn though. Saltburn was a pick from a long time ago. I think that trailer is another example of a theater trailer that's just really getting me now when I go see it. And the film looks great and total Academy bait. Total like gets into the Oscars, I think, or at least is in the running, and people think about it for that.
I was a little worried because the first round of Saltburn reviews was pretty split.
It debuted as a negative, as a rotten on Rotten Tomatoes.
Whoa.
Yeah,
But
but now
pretty-
it's like at like it. I think it's in the high 70s or 80s now.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Anything else to say, Abram?
I think I'm gonna do okay. The one I'm really interested in, especially having now seen The Flash, is I'm really curious what's gonna happen with Aquaman.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I'm feeling.
See what
honest-
happens to Arthur Curry after the post-credit scenes of The Flash. That's really
Uh-huh.
Does he make it out of the puddle?
I'm so worried for him.
My big question, either there's a massive success with the first film or
Yeah.
an enormous failure, and I think that this thing is going to fucking bomb. I think it is. I think it's too late. I think
It's
it's
very
screwed.
interesting because I've heard that obviously the test screenings there's reports of walkouts at test screenings because of how
James
poor
Wan
this film
hated
is.
making the movie.
He was having famously an awful time in the making of this. It went through rounds and rounds of reshoots in WB trying to save it or pack it or strip it of cameos from various Batmen. So, but also I've heard of like a rising contingent of like they don't know what they have. Like they just like James Wan just kind of made another like sort of zany, sort of weird Aquaman movie that originally people liked a whole lot. So
I think the imagery in that teaser looks cool. I just don't think it's gonna matter.
it's also very easy to make a good trailer. Let's remember this.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go to me next. Again, earliest draft pick to the most recent goes Killers of the Flower Moon, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, The Flash, The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, The Color Purple, Five Nights at Freddy's, and my new picks being Anatomy of a Fall, Tiger 3, May December, and Rustin.
Cool.
Okay.
I'm
On
very
your
happy I got Killers of the Flower Moon under my belt. It's gonna be fucking massive, dude.
We knew
it's gonna be huge.
We've been knowing that, man. We knew that months ago. But it only grows. It only grows with every passing week. It gets even more big and even more massive.
What's weird is it's basically agreed upon that it's not going to win Best Picture.
Why?
Which is interesting.
Who's
because
agreeing
it's like because it's like too obvious is essentially the thinking there.
Doesn't make any sense.
It's not most obvious picture. It's Best Picture.
Yeah, but
The
like
track record is over the last few years. Oh, it's gonna be Power of the Dog. Oh, it's gonna be
but
it's gonna be
here's
The
the thing.
Fablemans.
I think
But
This
people weren't
feels
saying
like a front runner.
people don't have that in their people have that in their minds now, right? They didn't have that in their mind with Power of the Dog. They weren't thinking
true.
that it was going to get usurped, you
The
know.
pundits are now like, oh, it's not going to be Killers of the Flower Moon because it's too obvious.
But then when you watch it, you might be like, it is going to win. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm arguing for
But
Tanner here, which
but
just
the-
seems to be kind of dangerous to me, but I also really want this movie to be good, and maybe
that
I
best
do
picture
want it
win
to
is
win
big
Best
points.
Picture.
I should remind you that best picture win is massive points. I think it's 25.
Do you think it's a box office success, Tanner?
I'll look at the budget one second. I think it's like $200 million budgeted. So no.
No.
Yeah, $200 million.
I'm gonna be honest. I'd be surprised if it makes that back.
Yeah. But I don't need to make it back
No.
because it's gonna get nominations literally everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
My God.
Yeah. And I feel pretty good about my new picks too. I'll just say that. I got a good box office thing and like 3 pretty solid awards contenders. Tucker's team, money. The Super Mario Brothers movie, Barbie, Fast X,
Money.
The Little Mermaid,
Money.
The Exorcist
Money.
Believer,
Money.
Poor Things, Wish, and
Money.
your new picks, Tucker, Beyonce, The Renaissance Tour,
Money.
The Holdovers, The Goldfinger, and Migration.
I'm still going money for money, baby. Let's fucking go.
You really are. You are doubling down.
But I also have Poor Things, which is probably going
Poor
to levy me in the other department.
Speaking of, presumed best picture winners, that's what a lot of people are having it putting at number 1. They got Poor Things up there, or they have I'm losing it. I don't even remember.
Don't expect too much.
No. I think, it's kind of like Poor Things or Oppenheimer is in that top spot for a lot of people, and then it's like those.
I'm not even
Oppenheimer, Poor
considering that one
Things.
as an Oscars movie. Like right now, I don't even.
Are you?
Timo,
Okay.
you're fucking off your rocker.
I don't know.
That
It ain't
get
gonna
nominated
win.
every
It ain't
fucking
gonna
category.
win.
People
Best
people are Poor Things, Oppenheimer, Killers for their top 3 predictions at the Oscars right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tucker, can I ask you a question? Can I ask you for an updated gut check on Wish?
Oh, and Wish. The gut doesn't feel much right now because Disney has not marketed this movie the way that they should have, I guess. We are like a month out at this point.
Yeah.
And they could double down on this last month and really make it a big thing. And also, it might be a big thing in areas that we're not aware of.
Of course.
Marketing in terms of showing up on kids channels, like movies, movie trailer on Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon and stuff like that, and just in the general other kids areas that we're not privy to. But as someone who pays attention to marketing of movies pretty consistently, I'm in the theaters multiple times a week. I'm pretty active on Twitter and see what people are talking about. No one's talking about Wish. They put out another trailer. It's basically the exact same. It's really fucking bizarre. I don't know why they did that.
Every time, Tucker, I'll have you know, and this is just the circles that that we're in, the echo chambers. Every time I see it brought up, is somebody dogging on the animation.
Yeah.
And how it
Oh,
looks.
really? Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
People do not like how this movie looks.
Well, we'll see. Wish Alien, baby.
Wish Alien.
Hey,
Wish Alien.
Regardless, that video got a lot of views for us.
It did. That's worth something.
How many
Not
points did I get
points.
for that?
No points. No points for that.
You can only Tucker, although it's already causing some discourse on film Twitter, just a tiny bit, just a tinge. Animation is what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, Timo. Team O.
Oh.
Oppenheimer. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Asteroid City. Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. Elemental, Evil Dead Rise, and TMNT Mutant Mayhem. And for movies that have yet to come out, because all of those movies have already released.
Yes.
The new picks for Team O: Priscilla, Maestro, Napoleon, and Leave the World Behind.
Now I forgot to mention that Leave the World Behind is an Obama-produced movie.
That's true. It is. They do. They've only done
a couple others, 2 or 3. They did that documentary about the factory, and then another one.
I think they've only done documentaries up to this point, so it's interesting to see if they can get that push with the Academy for a narrative film as well.
So right now, I feel like I'm actually gambling on all 4 fronts. I think I could go.
Maestro is your safest pick.
I think Maestro is the safest
100%.
pick for awards and stuff.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know. We'll see. I guess I'm gonna hope that Oppenheimer gets nominated a lot because that'll have to
It's
save
going
me
to.
later.
You
Timo,
don't need to worry about
as
that.
someone who is
I'm
dialed
frankly
in-
shocked
Yeah.
that you do not see this as like maybe the safest Oscars pick of the year in terms of
Timo, as
nominations.
someone who is dialed in to the nth degree, it's getting nominations in
I'm
a
dialed
lot
out
of
to the nth
categories.
degree.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to get nominations in a
Okay,
lot of
okay. Well,
categories
yeah,
and probably wins as well.
So I'm just gonna
Especially now
continue
that Dune
to.
is gone.
Yes.
Yeah,
Dune,
you're right.
Oppenheimer has a lot of the text locked down now
True.
that Dune is gone.
Yeah, so I'm mostly just excited for the movies that I picked. So I mean
That's
that
cool.
that
You
makes
can
me
do that.
happy about Napoleon.
hey-
Let's hope Napoleon is good. Let's just please, dear God, Napoleon it better be good. It better be.
Yeah.
It could make the Napoleon dollars.
Good.
I left some of my most anticipated movies of the year on the table. I left The Killer on the table. I do want to recap just some things that we left on the table there, if that's all right.
I was thinking
So-
about Dream Scenario for a little while. That
I
trailer
was
looked
too.
kind of interesting.
I saw the trailer twice today, and I am really excited for it. It looks
Yeah.
really, really fun.
It looks fun. I don't know if it's gonna pick up a lot of money or get any
Mhm.
awards though. It looks like a fun movie, and so go see it. But
Mhm.
is it the right pick
No.
for the draft?
Mm-mm.
I don't think so.
It's
The
not.
Marvels was something that we mentioned earlier. Big gamble there with how MCU things have been turning
We'll
out.
have to, regardless, calculate how much that's worth at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because it could be something that we're leaving on the table and that we're not picking. But I think there's a reason we're all staying away from it.
Not
Yeah,
with that
yeah.
budget, brother. That budget's fucking crazy.
$275 million. I said this earlier to Tucker on our September Backlot Banter episode. It is the most expensive non-Avengers MCU film.
My God, and that trailer does not inspire me to watch that movie.
It's also the shortest MCU film.
How'd that happen?
How do
What
you
have
know?
done?
Don't know.
All these other expensive MCU movies are like 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
Like, how
Today I
we'll
need
turn
to.
we'll turn
I
it a
need
tight
to-
90. This might be the most expensive shortest movie, or like most dollars per minute, probably of all time.
You might be right, actually, Tucker.
That's interesting. I was interested.
Because
in that.
you think about like even just this summer, things like Dial of Destiny and
Yeah.
Fast X and
You're hitting 2 hours, 2 hours 10 on those. Yeah.
yeah. And
Hmm.
this?
Like an hour 40, I'm pretty sure is what they settled on.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What else do we have on there? I left The Killer on the table. If we had a fifth pick, I was
Oh.
gonna grab The Killer just for my own edification. Yes, Timo?
Chicken Run, Dawn of a Nugget.
Chicken Run Dawn of the Nugget is basically a lock for animated categories.
It's what are they? It's Aardman is the studio.
Aardman.
Yeah. So Chicken Run the original is badass. It's great.
Chicken Run the original won Best British Film at the BAFTAs.
And Chicken Run the original inspired the greatest video essay I ever watched. So just Google Chicken Run video essay and watch the whole thing. I'm not gonna. If I tell you what the video essay is about, it will ruin it, and it will ruin the whole bit here. So you got to. This is a joke for you on your own time.
Yeah. Well, this is actually Netflix now, and
Oh.
they had a rule for keeping the at least 34 animators on staff at all time for Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget. If you want to learn more about that, just Google Chicken Run Rule 34.
Did you just come up with that, or is that something you saw on Twitter?
Oh, I came up with that. Because
That was off the
'cause
dome. That was off
I
the dome.
heard I heard Timo say, "Oh, just Google that," and I'm like,
Anytime you hear
clicked- the
just
joke clicked
Google
into my-
specific phrase, you got to be a
yes.
little worried. But trust me, I am
Yeah.
trying to humor you. So do Google Chicken Run video
I was trying to
essay.
humor you too.
I'm trying to humor you
Oh.
later, not right now.
Yeah. Potential awards things that I noted that were higher up on my ranking are American Fiction, Naiad, and The Bike Riders.
Yeah.
American Fiction is the only one I have any confidence in.
Yeah.
I just don't think the sports movie of Naiad is going to perform super well, given that
Sure.
that's not sports movies tend to not like pick up a
Mhm.
whole lot. They don't.
Ford v
Just-
Ferrari.
Yeah, Ford v Ferrari. I mean, Ford v Ferrari did. And there is the Ferrari movie which got Adam
Yeah.
Driver in it, and I
I
just
don't know about that.
I just don't know about that. You know, like
Mhm.
he looks weird. Like why does Adam Driver look weird as this Ferrari character? Like I don't know.
And other like movies that could do fine or could be flops at the box office, but no awards potential. Thanksgiving, Anyone But You,
Thanksgiving
Silent
was
Night.
my next pick.
Thanksgiving, you're the only one, Tucker, who I think is legitimate in picking that movie because it does have Addison Rae in it, and if you were hoping for her to make an appearance at the Oscars,
Yeah.
There are two
There's
movies I
probably a
want
bit that's going over my head right now.
she's a TikToker,
Yeah.
Okay.
and who's has made some really horrible movies in the past too.
True. Tucker saw one of those, I'm pretty sure. Do you see He's All That?
He's all that. Oh my
No.
god,
I
No,
watched,
okay.
no.
She's All That. Yeah.
Fucking
the Addison
Abram.
Rae version is much worse than the original version. The original version is pretty schlocky.
Abram, go ahead.
I was thinking about picking it, but it just doesn't have any legs anywhere. Silent Night.
Mhm.
It looks like it's gonna be cool. John Woo does not have a very strong critical track record,
No,
Yeah.
no.
and I just don't think this is gonna go anywhere. The other one that I'm super interested in, but I just don't see being anything other than like a niche success is Godzilla -1. I don't
Yeah.
know how you guys feel about that. I think it's cool, but I don't see it winning anywhere really, other than critically.
Yeah, they churn out those those Toho movies that
Yeah.
are like.
There's another one coming out before this called Godzilla 2000.
Well,
Yeah,
What?
I don't know. It's
And
very,
then
it's
we're
very
getting
odd.
Godzilla vs. Kong next
Godzilla
year?
-1. Is it made by the same people that made like Shin Ultraman? And is it the same people that
Well,
made
it's
those?
Toho. Yeah,
Okay. I gotta look and see if it's the same actual director or whatnot.
sure. But yeah, it's neat. I think it looks neat. And you could pick up some Japanese box office stuff for that, Abram, but too little, too late, I say.
Hey, the Romanian box office, that shit's gonna go crazy.
It's gonna go nuts. It's gonna light that Romanian box office on fire, dude. Okay, there we have it, folks. There's our new teams. There, we have to ride it out and see how we end up.
Do we draft any more, Tanner? Are these the teams? Are we locked in now? Are we done?
Okay, so that's the thing, is that I was gonna mention this. We'll be doing one more draft just because we love drafting so goddamn much. But it's not for 2023. Because technically our draft will reset in March when the Oscars happen, the last big awards body that we're looking at for points. That means that we have 3 months of movies that come out in 2024 that aren't able to be drafted. And I say that's not cool in my book. So, end of the year, we will be doing the early 2024 draft. Just picking up, 2 or 3 movies. We'll hash it out. But 2 or 3 movies coming out in those 3 months, just to open it up for the entire year of filmmaking.
You gonna grab Magazine Dreams?
I'm going for The Beekeeper.
Technically, Abram, it's funny you bring that up. I never saw a headline that they pulled that from the December 8th release slot.
Well, he did.
But they definitely did.
I mean, he stopped that high school fight, right? So I think everything's cool now.
Oh, yeah.
Loki season 2 is coming out. It's all upside. But no, yeah. But actually, Poor Things took that date, so unofficially, I don't think I think they just didn't want like that in the headline, so they just did it very, very quietly.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Well, if we draft early enough, I can pick Rebel Moon.
That's true. That's
you can
true.
pick Rebel Moon Part 2.
You can't pick Rebel Moon Part 2.
Yeah.
The Scar Giver.
Rebel Toon.
Okay. Let's get out of here, folks. Thanks for watching. We will see you in the next update/draft.
Don't forget, comment who you think is the biggest bozo out of all of us.
That's a great point. Timo, it could be you.
It
Could be
sure
you.
as hell could be.
It could be any of us.
It could
We'll have to
be
wait and find
any of
out.
us.
Thanks, guys. See you later.